Good morning. This is H coming at you again with a tutorial video for Autodesk Inventor 2023. So we have looked at some part files. We've started creating part files and gone through that process on a few of these videos that are here. We're going to be looking now at a drawing file and creating a drawing file of a part file that was already made. So this part file that we already made in class is a part file with the name of offset plate 2-12. So here's what it looks like here. So I'll be using this drawing off screen for a while. And if you're just following along and just learning with these videos, you could pause this drawing here, create this part file, and then unpause the video in order to make the drawing along with me when you completed it. With every drawing that you have in Inventor, for every drawing that you're going to make, you must already have the part file created, the 3D part, to be able to do it. Because Inventor will talk to itself. The different part files will communicate with each other, and the drawing will pull information from the part file. And that's how all the numbers, the dimensions, all the numerical information is drawn into the drawing file, pulled into that from the part file itself. So the part file must be completed first. And if the part file is completed, then you're good to go. So we're going to be making a drawing file of this offset plate 8-12. And what we're looking at here is the drawing file already completed, what this looks like here. And we have our front view, we have our top view, we have our isometric view in the corner, we have a notation about the unit system is inches, pounds, seconds. So the imperial unit system with inches. And we have all the views. So we have to place those views, and then we have to add the dimensions here. So for purposes of in class, in my course, we're using this as the answer key. We're putting in the dimensions that we are given, because that is what we just want to recreate and remake what drawing we were given, recreate that exactly, submit that as our completed work. So we're going to create this drawing as is. So I'm going to move this to the side over here just to get it out of the way of our Inventor screen. And here in Inventor, we're going to create our drawing. So the first step in creating any drawing file is go to create new. Here's our window. We're familiar with this when we started making part files in the standard inches, right? Part file. And again, we're in the English folder. So that is where inches templates are located. Inches part files, inches drawings, assemblies, whatever you're using in inches is here in English. Metric contains everything in millimeters. Same things, right? So we go to the English folder because this drawing is in inches, and we're going to go down here to our drawing section, right? So we have two different drawing files. One of these things is not like the other, right? So we want to use the one that looks similar to what we're using here, the blue and gray kind of cubes. This ANSI inch.idw, this is a drawing file. So I'm going to select onto that file there, and it's going to open up this template. Now this template is a automatically sized and scaled template. It is the size D, which goes into the paper size of what this template is in the ANSI system. So we're fine using this. We're just learning how to make a drawing, right? If we were making a specific drawing of a specific size, scale, need a certain size paper for that drawing, we can manipulate that and change that. But the default here is just the size D, and that's absolutely fine for our purposes of just learning right now what we're doing. You can see, again, it puts your name in here and the date in there as far as like when you're making this drawing. Super useful. Date stamps it, put your name in there as you're the user that's logged into the computer. And then of course, as you create it and save it, it'll pull in more information into this text box that is down here, into the title block. This is called the title block down here. We also have the border that goes all the way around. All the way around this is the border. We want to make sure that when we make a drawing, nothing goes outside that border. Keep everything neat, keep everything clean, nothing outside that border, and we should be good. So the first step is we're going to place our views, right? In our drawing, we're doing a very simple or 3-view drawing, orthographic projection of the front view, the top view, and the isometric view in the corner. So our first step is to place views. So we have the place views tab. Really easy. It's going to be a lot of moving from the left to the right. A lot of this motion, not only in the tabs, but also in the panels of the ribbon, right? Remember, these are tabs. This is the ribbon. This is a panel, right? So this first panel is the base view. It creates the first view in a new drawing, right? So this is the tool we need to click on, and it's going to open up this window. Now, this window is going to give us the opportunity to find the part file that we need to make a drawing of. And that's in this little button right here, open existing file. I don't have the part file open already. If I did, Inventor would automatically find it and select that part automatically. Now, if you have more than one part file open, it might be kind of iffy. It might not open anything at all, right? But we can find a part file by clicking on this folder magnifying glass and finding the file that we're looking for. We're looking for the offset plate 8-12. There it is right there. So we got a lot of files in here, a lot of things going on with the class. So we got a lot of files to look through. So look through the files, find what folder you're looking at, find your file, click open. Now notice this window didn't close, right? Because there's still more changes and manipulation we can do to this base view. This base view, it will be our front view. We're going to put our front view in first, but we could change that if it was necessary to change, right? If you're doing a drawing that has a different base view, you can change that here with the view cube, right? I'm just going to show you. I could go to bottom, right? I could go to top. You can manipulate this and change this using the view cube manipulation. So again, front view for our purposes is our base view. We're doing a simple 3-view projection. We don't need to change that around at all, right? Getting a nice save reminder. Thank you, Inventor. So once we have that in there, we have our front view. We have our view identifier, which we could change if we wanted to. We could identify this as the front view. That's totally fine, right? And might come in handy as you get more and more advanced drawings done. Identifying views, very useful to do. Then you also have the scale. The scale is going to be noted upon the drawing what scale you end up using. So this is a 1-to-1 scale. You can see right now that is pretty small, right? You want your views to be large enough so that they are easy to dimension and add dimensions in, but also, so large enough to do that, but small enough to remain on the page, right? You want them to remain inside that border. So the scale here, if we go like this is 1-to-1, if we go down, if we go 1/2, you can see it shrinks, right? It goes down. The scale shrinks as we go into 1/2 or 1/3 or whatever. We can make them really small. If we do the opposite of that, instead of 1-to-1, we just say 2. Like 2-to-1 is 2. Scale twice the size, it makes it larger. We can go 4, make it even larger. Now, as you can see, as we're getting larger, we're going outside the borders of the drawing, which we don't want to do. So let's just keep it at 2. Seems simple, easy to do. We'll keep the scale at 2. And once we've set that, once we've set the viewpoint of the front, we've set the scale, we've gotten everything of our base view completed and in, we can hit the OK button here with our mouse, or we can hit the Enter key on the keyboard. Either way is fine. And once we have this base view in here, now we can move this to a location that seems a bit better. right? Because here in the corner, we're going to be adding dimensions down here and putting dimensional lines in here to communicate the information about this drawing. So I'm going to move it away from that corner just a bit, just to give us some more space, right? So let's give us some more space and put it there. Now we still need to add two more views to this because we need to add the top view and the isometric view in the corner, right? Now, on every orthographic projection drawing, the layout is always the same based upon the location of that view drawing, right? So the front view is always here, kind of front and center. The top view will always be above the front view on top, always. If you see a view here, it is the top view if it's above the front. The one on the, if there's a drawing here, a view on the right, that's the right side view of the part, always on the right side. Same with the left. Same with the bottom, right? The bottom would be down here. Top, bottom, left, right, front view, front and center. Isometric is going to be kind of up here in the upper right-hand corner, right? Our 3D view. So to project those views, to get those views in the right locations and what we need to go to our next step. So we start with base, we go to projected. Projected view, and then we come down here. We're just going to click. We're going to select this front view that we made. Click on that. We're going to come up here. This view here, if I click this in, will make a front view of this drawing, a front view of this part. Sorry, top view of this part. This would be the right side. This would be the bottom. This would be the left side. So top view, I need this. So I'm going to click. There it is. It is now clicked in. That green box there is the space saver for that view. And it's now asking us, hey, do we want to add any more views? Do we want to add anything else to this drawing? The answer is yes, we do, right? We need this isometric view. So this is the right side. This is the top we already added. This here in this corner, the 3D view is the isometric. We're going to click that in as well and make another green space saving box. Now we need, once we have all those views that we need, which this is it, this is all we need are the front view and these two extra views here. Once we have all the views we need, well, we could have added more. We're going to right click on our mouse and go to create and click on create. And what that does, it creates those views that were being saved in those locations that we had marked. And so it makes those views in those locations. It made the top view. It made the isometric view. Again, we can move these, or we can move the isometric around if we wanted to. But if we move the top, it's not going to move side to side. It will move up and down, but it will not move away from being lined up to the center of this front view. It's very, very nice. Now, if we wanted to move it side to side, we move the front view, and the top view will move with us, right? So this is a very important feature because the top view has to stay in line, lined up with the front view. So it has to stay like that. So now we have all of our views placed. We're good. We have all of our views placed. We're in, it's on the drawing. We're in there. It's looking great. Now we need to add some annotation, some dimensions, some symbols, some markings to communicate all we want to communicate about this part, right? So if you're making a part about a file or a part of a design that you have made, you want to make sure you're communicating everything about that design. So this is what we call the engineering essay, right? You want to communicate everything you can about this document, about this part, and not be redundant. You don't want to be redundant. You don't want to add more than what you need to dimensionally. And that comes with practice and time and making sure you annotate everything so you can communicate all that dimensional information, numerical information to whoever is fabricating this part for you, whether it's you're fabricating it yourself or it's going on down the production line to someone else, right? So we want to add the dimensions to this part. So we got to go to annotate and dimension. And we can add general dimensions in this way. We can click on this and maybe we need a dimension. We'll zoom in a little bit with our mouse wheel. We need a dimension right here for the height of this part. We need it to be 2. We don't need to change anything about that 2. So this window here, I'm just going to click OK. 2 is 2 and 2 is good. Now I'm just gonna go around clockwise around this part, adding the dimensions that I need of what's being shown to me in the drawing that I'm mimicking. I'm copying a drawing, recreating that. So I'm gonna go this full distance here. This is 5. Again, I'm not changing anything about that dimensional line. Everything looks good. So 5 is what it's gonna be. I also need the dimension from this center circle to this center circle of 1.5. So I'm going to make sure that that's the case. Now notice I am adding dimensions and moving them outside of the part. You want your dimensions outside of the shape of the part for cleanliness and just visibility, making sure you can see everything is important. So we add that in there. I'm going to kind of move the mouse over a bit here to kind of get to this other side, this right side here. I need a dimension. And we have from the bottom line here to this circle here, the center of the circle is 1. And that's okay. Now, this dimension here, we're going to have a bit of a trick. So this dimension here, in our drawing that I'm looking at, this circle has a diameter of 0.875. And right now, when I make this dimension here, it is actually saying Inventor's rounding this up to 2 decimal places, 0.88. We need to change that. So how do we change that? We, in this window that we've just been clicking OK on, we go to Precision and Tolerance, this tab right here. And we go to the primary unit and we change it to number 3. So the primary unit, we change number 3, and that gives us the 3 decimal places we need. Excellent. That looks good. Now, also in the drawing, there's a reference information here that says that this diameter is for 3 holes, that all 3 holes have this diameter. So to type in a little notation after a dimension is put in, we go to this text box, the first tab, and then we just type in that message, right? 3 holes. And you can see it's adding it right there, right where that dimension diameter is, and it says 3 holes now. So once we do that, we can click OK, right? So if we need to change anything about the dimensions, we can in the window that we've been just clicking OK on and clearing, and that's absolutely fine, right? So now we're just going to add some more dimensions. We're going to add this dimension here, 0.5. This dimension here is 1. This dimension here, we'll line it up to this dimension line here. This is 1.5. Then from this green dot to this green dot, this horizontal dimension here, this is 0.5. And then we need the same thing vertically. That kind of shows us the chamfered edge here, the cutoff, like the cutoff corner, that it's 0.5 in both vertically and horizontally in all directions. So once we have that in place, we're good. So the last thing that remains in this part really to do are the center marks of these circles, right? So we want to mark the center point of these. And how we would do that is here in the symbols section, there's a symbol generator here called center mark, and we can click on that tool, center mark tool, and then click on the circles themselves. And that'll add those center marks in there so you can have a better idea of the center point and measuring to the center point of the circles to mark those centers, and then we should be good, right? So that's all the dimensioning that you need to do for a drawing, like on a front view like that, and what I'm looking at in the drawing that's there. Then we just want to make sure we dimension this top view, because this top view is giving us the extrusion width of this offset plate, right? So we need to dimension this right here. And again, we're given a dimension in 2 decimal places that needs to be 3, right? So we go to precision and tolerance, change that primary unit to 3, and click OK. And that right there is the finished drawing. Okay, so we finished the drawing up. If you're in my class, where we would save this drawing, we'll hit save, hit offset plate, and hit the save button. Hit the save button, and you're good. So if you're in my class, you hit that save button, and then you're doing that final step that you need, which is to export this as a PDF file, right? So you can upload it to the Schoology system. So you'll go to File, Export, PDF, click on that. And again, this is kind of saving it again as offset plate 2-8. You save that, export that as a PDF, you hit save, and then you're submitting the PDF as your assignment completion, correct? So that is how you create a drawing file. You place your views first, base view first, then projected. Then you go to annotate and you're adding dimensions and you'll add symbols. And as we progress throughout the time, we're going to be adding more symbols to the drawings, more dimensions to the drawings, and even covering a shortcut of how to add dimensions to a drawing if you do well in the part file sketching. So that is a drawing file for Autodesk Inventor 2023. Those are the steps in order to get there and to turn it in, especially if you're in the engineering course that I am teaching. So you want to make sure that you follow those steps for every drawing that you complete, and you can make every view that way. All right. So thank you very much. You all have a great day.